Havis Badui, welcome to Untapped Potential. Where are you joining us from?
Well, I'm in Midlothian, Virginia at this moment. So I'm
Good.
really excited to be on your show and thank you for the invite so much.
Absolutely. Yes. So tell us who you are and a little bit about your company.
All right. Well, first of all, I'm a proud Dominican. As you know, I was born on the Caribbean island of Dominica. Um, some people will say Princess Margaret Hospital, but I think now it's called the Friends of China Hospital. I don't know, but that's where I was born. I grew up in Point Michel, just like Dr. Dale Dangleben, a friend of mine from the same village. Um, I'm much older than him, not much older, but older than him. I left in the 70s and we migrated to the United States, settled in Boston, Massachusetts, because my aunts were there since like the 50s. My dad came a year prior to that, so we moved in 1978. I had just started first form in 77 at grammar school, and we left. I cried like a baby because I didn't want to go. And the song that played, I remember that for the rest of my life, Lionel Richie and the Commodores, Easy Like Sunday Morning. And I thought the song said, Leaving Like Sunday Morning. I was probably like in my 50s when I found out it was Easy Like Sunday Morning. That's my little joke about my story.
So you've been in the States for about, what, 40 years now?
I'm going on 43, so
Okay.
pushing 50 now.
Okay, cool.
When we moved here, like I said, it was a transition because remember going from Paradise, the Caribbean island, to Boston, Massachusetts. Boston is cold weather, different sports, different things. There was no internet, there was no social media back then. People had pen pals, you write letters, but I'm a boy. I was a boy, so I assimilated into the culture, started playing hockey and American football and all the different things that I didn't do in Dominica, and made friends. And next thing you know, I'm running around like I'm a little American boy, but I kept my accent because I'm very proud of the 767 and forever.
Absolutely.
And there are times, even when I go to Dominica, they say, you have an accent. And I get mad. Here, I have an accent. I don't get mad when they tell me because I want people to ask me where I'm from so I can actually say, Waiti Kubuli, the Commonwealth of Dominica.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. It's the same reason I keep mine as well.
Okay, that's good. And you asked me about professionally. I've been doing this financial services for a long time, about 35 years. But the last 4 years, I ventured out to partner with an IMO. An IMO stands for Individual Marketing Organization out of Jacksonville, Florida, called American Classic Agency. And basically, as a self-employed entrepreneur with years and decades of experience, I felt it was best to go on my own and, educate Middle America about what they don't know. There's a lot of non-traditional concepts that they don't know. So that's basically, so the last 4 years I've been partnering with American Classic Agency out of Jacksonville, Florida.
Yes, and I certainly want to talk to you about both concepts, the non-traditional approaches to finance. But tell us a little bit about the challenges that you faced in terms of branching out and being on your own. What are some challenges you faced with that?
Well, I'll be honest. I was working in Boston, Massachusetts. I was a financial advisor. In terms, when I say financial advisor, there's two terms. Financial advisor could be a securities rep, and I'll explain what that means. They have a Series 6, 63, or you could have a 7, 66, and all those different. FINRA is the regulatory body for financial services for securities like stocks, bonds, mutual funds, 5 to 9 card savings plans, variable universal life, things like that, variable annuities. So basically, I got recruited to work for a firm called Genworth Financial. Genworth Financial used to be GE Financial, a branch of GE, General Electric. And actually, I was recruited from Boston to come to, I was investment rep with You Promise Investments. And I came to Richmond, Virginia. It was kind of funny. When I came there, I didn't know anyone there. They recruited me, flew me down, put me in a hotel, had an interview. I was there for a couple of days, met a bunch of people, and then they flew me back up. And then they called me the same day and tell me, well, we want to offer you the job. I'm like, great. I said, well, at the time I had young children. I was like, you know what? Maybe about a month I can come down. They're like, no, we'll give you a bonus to come. But I was a little younger then. I was about 40. And I think what I should have said was, all right, make it 25 grand. You know, I took a smaller bonus, but I learned that as I went along. So
Mm-hmm.
coming on board here, when I did that, it was fine. And then I went with another outfit out of Chicago for about 10 years to learn the insurance side. You see, because what people don't understand about financial services is simply this. Everything needs a foundation and a base. When you go to the bank, it says FDIC, right? What does FDIC stands for? Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. Everything has to be insured. Your home, your car, your phone, everything. So I wanted to be more of a comprehensive planner. Maybe down the road, I might think about becoming what they call a CFP, Certified Financial Planner. But right now, I'm here educating middle America, showing them what they need to do.
Yeah, so this is certainly a very important topic, especially in this day of coronavirus, the COVID-19 crisis right now. And you know, this is an area that many of us have struggled with even before the pandemic, and certainly a lot of us are struggling with finances right now. So do you have any suggestions in terms of, like, if you're looking to make a little bit of extra money on the side, any resources people can probably turn to make a little extra income?
Well, you just said that, and if you notice, I skinned my teeth like a Cheshire cat, because currently, when the pandemic started, right, in February, I launched a program called Tuesdays with Terrence, where I started to educate people. It doesn't cost them anything to listen to a show about non-traditional concepts. And when the pandemic hit it, my business has grown exponentially.
Excellent.
And we have so much work. We have a recruiting webinar that we do every Tuesday. If I don't care if you work as a nurse, because we have people who are nurses who do it with us, an educator, as a teacher, a CPA. I don't care what you do. I don't care if you work at Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody could use an extra $2, $3, $4, $5,000 a month, right?
Absolutely.
Especially during this pandemic.
Yes.
So during this pandemic, because we have so much work, we're trying to tell people you haven't got to quit what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, one of my colleagues was a respiratory therapist years ago, and he was making more money doing this part-time than a respiratory therapist, and he came on board full-time. So we are looking for folks, people with an entrepreneurial spirit, people who are willing to put a couple of hours a week, or work weekends, or maybe one night a week, or work weekends, and they can make as much as they want to.
Yes, so I'm very tuned in with my listeners, and I'm thinking that many of them might be thinking, well, Terrence, I'm not really a salesperson, so exactly what would I be doing if I signed up to become a member of your team?
Well, one of the great things about this business is simply this. I look at so many people who are being furloughed, whether you're in the restaurant business, whether you're in, hospitality, whatever it may be. And I'm looking at them and I'm saying, wow, these people have families, they have a husband, a wife, different things to do. And there's no work. They're getting unemployment, which is not cutting it. And here we have, it doesn't matter if there's a pandemic or not. You're going to need what we do. Financial services, financial literacy is not something that's taught in high school or college or anywhere. So one of the most important things is simply this. People need to realize that you can make some additional funds, additional money, and think about it this way. What if you had your own stimulus? There's a way you could have had your own stimulus based on the concepts that we teach. And you could have used your stimulus, which would have been a lot more than what you got if you qualified. Some of us didn't qualify for it. So what I'm trying to say here, even during a pandemic, we're in a recession-proof business and we are looking for quality people. And it doesn't matter if you're scared to meet people. Well, there's a pandemic going on. We do everything virtually.
Right.
We're on the radio today, but I just closed a deal for a client in Texas. I just did one for a client in Florida, closed some in Massachusetts, Pennsylvania. I don't care where you are. I'm licensed in 16 states, and I can get licensed in any state. And the most important thing is that you can do this. If you have a pulse and you can talk, you can do it, and I'll teach you.
So you're saying it's best for them to contact you to find out exactly what they would need to do in terms of being a member of the team. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. And
Okay.
sometimes
Okay.
what happens to a lot of people, sometimes they get a little nervous and a little scared about what it entails. Well, that's when we would have a one-on-one, you know.
Okay.
We would talk about, because let me tell you something. For me, for example, God gave me the gift of gab. So I
Mhm.
use it for my business. But there's some people in my business who don't talk much and they're very successful. But they
Mhm.
talk when they need to. Because if you go somewhere and you need to say something, you have to say something, but you don't have to have a big mouth like H. Terrence Bardui. You know, you just need a couple of things: integrity and good work ethic, and we can teach you the rest.
Well, listeners, you've heard it here. There are opportunities to earn income, to earn a little extra money out there, and we found a great resource in Mr. H. Terrence Badui, and he's urging you to contact him to find out more of what he is offering you in terms of joining as a team member with his organization. So if you are just joining us, this is Untapped Potential with Dr. Simone, and I am interviewing Mr. H. Terrace Badui out of you're in Virginia.
That's right.
And he's actually telling us opportunities to earn some income. We're talking money, money, money today, which is a very important topic any time of the year, but especially now during the pandemic, where a lot of people are losing income either through being furloughed, having their job hours cut, or getting laid off. So a very important topic today. So another area a lot of people struggle with is just the simple idea of budgeting. You know, you could be making the most money in the whole wide world, but if you're not spending your money in a way where you're going to achieve financial success, then you're actually wasting money. Do you have any recommendations in that area for us?
Yes, I do. Now, with technology, you can get a budgeting tool online. But you know what? If you're not tech savvy, because I'm not, you know, get a pen and a piece of paper and you start writing down everything that you pay every month. Now, I always tell clients and I tell individuals, and even you, Doc, if you show me your bank statement, I can tell you how you live. Now, people say, you can? Of course I can. Now, there's some people who refuse to use their debit card and they use cash. Well, then you don't know what you're spending because you're just spending. There is a way to create a budget, and there's effective ways we can teach you how to do that. And that if someone's really interested about that, doing a budget, we can help them. They can contact me. At the end of the show, I'll give them my contact information, and we can certainly do that. But you can start with simple things as documenting, your utilities, your groceries, your entertainment, all the different things that you do, because you're spending money. And one of the things that we do is we don't teach people how to stop how they live. Because if you like certain things, I know some people like entertainment, some people like drinking wine, some people like, I don't know, getting their nails done, their toes done. Well, we're not telling you to stop that. We're just trying to teach you ways that you can enhance that and continue that lifestyle now and through retirement and beyond retirement. Because most people, if you don't budget, if you don't have a plan, you plan to fail. And you have to have a plan. So budgeting is key, and we can help you with that. And then what I usually tell people on my show is that I don't give, I'm licensed to give advice, but people can't ask me questions on the show because I may start asking you personal questions and everyone's going to know. That's when we have a virtual consultation. It's free, it doesn't cost you anything, and we will help you. We'll design something for you, and we'll make sure that you're in the right place. Because if you're not paying yourself, every time you get paid, I mean, and as a Christian, you got to return, I believe in tithing, and all the charities and things that you do. But the funny thing is that if you're not paying yourself, you're making a big mistake. And budgeting helps you accomplish that goal.
Yes, 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 certainly. So I like that you brought up the idea of retirement because I'm guessing a lot of people are not even thinking of retirement. And you know, there are just certain topics that I'm finding, especially for those of us who are from the islands, have such stigma to them. And one of the goals of this program that I want us to do is to get rid of the stigmas that surround certain topics. And one of those topics is life insurance. I think from back home, there's a certain stigma attached to life insurance, but then unfortunately, when an unfortunate tragedy occurs, then we turn to, GoFundMe and all these other resources. Whereas if we had life insurance in place, it would cover more than just the funeral expenses. So tell us a little bit about the importance of having life insurance and the services you offer.
First of all, let me tell you this, Doc. I'm glad you brought this up. This is very important, Dr. Simone. If you have a financial advisor and they don't have an insurance component to their practice, they're charging you fees and they're looking out for themselves. Now, I don't want to say everyone that's a securities person, with their funeral licenses are doing that. The point I'm trying to say, and I mentioned at the beginning of the show, the house that you're in right now, the house that I'm in, sitting talking to you right now, there's a foundation. And every foundation has to be solid. And every foundation has to have insurance to be solid. So look at it this way. Insurance is not your grandmother's or great-grandmother's insurance. And the reason why the stigma about insurance is simply this, the morbid factor. People are scared about dying.
Yes.
Well, life insurance is not about dying. Life insurance is about providing for your loved ones. Think about it this way. Whether you're single, married, you have children. Nowadays, life insurance have certain features like living benefits. For example, if you have a critical illness or chronic illness, and I push that a lot on my show, Tuesdays with Terrence, via Facebook Live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. And the reason why I do that is most of my followers are women. Well, every woman knows a woman who may have had breast cancer. Mm-hmm. Well, that's a critical illness. Yes. I have a sister-in-law who died at 37 from breast cancer. So my point I'm trying to say here is that if you had living benefits for critical illness, chronic illness, critical illness, chronic illness, critical injury, chronic injury, you can actually access funds while you are alive to take care of those expenses. Because even though you have insurance, what about you can't do the activities of daily living, someone to clean your house, go grocery shopping? Insurance is not going to cover that. Mm-hmm. You need to go places. You still need help. And the important thing is life insurance now is so different. I don't even believe people should be saving in banks. You can save it through life insurance and access it tax-free. You see, what people don't understand about it, Doc, is simply this. They think, well, I'm getting a policy, and when I die, someone's going to benefit. No. When you die, and we all will die, there's something in place to take care of your final expenses. However, you're leaving a legacy for your children, your spouse, whomever, a charity, if you belong to a fraternity or sorority, your church, a club, a scholarship fund in your honor, whatever it is that you wanted to do. Now, man, I'm telling you, life insurance is so different from back in the day where it's like life insurance and steroids, but it's legal steroids and it doesn't harm you. It actually benefits you.
Yeah, wonderful information. Thank you so much for sharing that. But I can also hear our listeners saying, well, you guys were just talking about the fact that many people no longer have their full incomes, but yet you guys are asking us to potentially buy life insurance. How can I afford this?
Great question. I have a theory, and it goes like this. If you live in the United States of America, and then I'll talk about other countries in a second, and you have a social security number, you need to get what's called an IUL. An IUL is an Index Universal Life Policy where it's a flexible premium. You see, it doesn't matter if after your kid gets a 2-week checkup, you need to get them an IUL and overfund it. So if you're overfunding it and then you fall on hard times, there's a minimum you can pay. There's a target premium that you can pay to keep it in force, and there's a maximum to overfund it so you can access it in times like these. You can get, I don't care, and I'm going to pick on women and I'll pick on the men because I love the women. You get your toes done, your nails done, your hair done. All women do that. They love that stuff. If I had to look at what women spend on those things to beautify themselves, and they should because they work hard, life insurance doesn't cost that much. You got to start early. You got to start when you're young, and you got to do it while you're healthy, because what happens is that it goes by sex, meaning male or female, your health, and your age. You obviously got to be height, weight, proportion, and there's other things they may look at. Maybe they look at your credit. They may look at your driving record. They may look at a bunch of other factors, and they have to be an insurable interest. Because if you're worth 50 grand, they're not going to give you 10 million. But the point I'm trying to make here is that it's not that expensive, and you can fix it into your budget if you want to. Most people just don't do it, and they depend on family members. And actually, it's embarrassing to. I have a rule, a second rule that I say on my show. If anyone dies and they know what I do and they put a GoFundMe, I will not contribute. Now, in other countries, insurance are important. In the Caribbean, Dominica, England, Mexico, I don't care if you're in St. Martin or wherever, you can still have something in place. And if you don't know, talk to me and I'll find someone there who can actually help you to put something in place. Because even talk about Dominica, after Maria and actually Erica, a lot of people lost a lot of properties and they were not even insured. So insurance is very important, and people lost lives. And yes, you have family members in diaspora who helps you, but it doesn't grow on trees. And some of us in the diaspora have families, and they have to take care of that too. So one of the most important things is putting a plan in place, something within your budget. And the great thing about insurance is this: it's very regulated, the most regulated industry in the United States. It's not the medical, not the legal, it's insurance. It has to be affordable and suitable, because if it's not that, it's not ethical, and and ethics is key. One of the things I say on the back of my business card, and I'll read it to you, it says, integrity and service is my commitment to you. What I have, if you don't know me and we talk, my integrity is what's going to guide me. And my service to you is to make sure we put something in place. So even it doesn't matter where you are, it's better to have something than nothing. And we can certainly show you how to do that.
Certainly. And I'm happy that you brought up Hurricane Maria, because as you may know, a lot of people had insurance with certain companies, I won't call their names, and unfortunately, they did not receive any coverage when it was time for these insurance companies to pay up. So I think what we're talking about here is the importance of doing your homework and finding out which companies actually pay off in an unfortunate event such as Hurricane Maria, and which do not have such a great reputation. So I think the onus is on us to make sure that we're getting the life insurance and the other important insurance, but also making sure we know the companies that we are investing our hard-earned money into. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, that's a great point. I have a friend who works at SMA and also on a radio program. And I asked him a question last month. I told him to find out the name of every insurance company that operates in Dominica. I'll be quite frank and honest with you. In Dominica, I left I just turned 13 and I left. I'm going to be 56 in October. So I mean, you drop me on the plane in Melville Hall, I can get home. I can't get lost in Dominica. But I don't know much about how it's run there. But you know what? You ask a Dominican about a phone, right? If they ask you to send them a phone, they know about the brand, they know about the gigabytes. They do their research on the sneakers, on the Lacoste clothes. They do. So why won't you research an insurance company, find out what their ratings are, find out what their reserves are? Those are basic things you can do. But what happens to a lot of us, we get lazy. And just because someone said, I mean, if an insurance company is operating out of Dominica, you got to find out, where's its headquarters? Where is it based at? Is it a subsidiary of an American company, a British company, or is it a fly-by-night? Is it some? I'm not saying that that's what happened there, but here in America, like I said, the companies that I represent are very solid companies, great ratings, and it's a contract, and everything is in the contract. And in Dominica, if there's someone who has a policy in Dominica, and I'm a national of Dominica, and next time I get there, I want to get a policy there. Just get one and see if they'll insure me. I got my CARICOM passport, and if they will, and I want to do some research on it so that when people ask questions, I can actually educate them more. But what I would say to those individuals, talk to the insurance agencies, talk to the people, find out more. I mean, read your contract. Why won't you read it? You guys spend hours watching Netflix, hours watching, going to World Creole Festival, going to Carnival, planning. You guys plan for a whole year for your mask and your outfit for Carnival. And that's a fete and celebration. How about what's important to you? Your life, your property. you need to understand the differences. You need to understand what it's doing for you. And it's incumbent on you to do some research.
Yeah, and certainly, and I think an easy way to do the research now, because now, unfortunately, since Hurricane Maria, a lot of people now know who paid out and who didn't. So a
Exactly. Ask
simple
around.
way to do the research, because I get the sense that people have just trying to abandon the idea of insurance, which is a complete error, but instead just simply ask around, find out which companies paid out and which companies did not.
Exactly. Do your research.
Absolutely.
And research is, I mean, people spend hours. I mean, when they go to a store, and I'm picking on women because I love them dearly, you know, they figure out which extensions they're going to get, what color they're going to do. They already know what outfit they're planning for, this fet and that fet. Insurance, that's your life, especially your property. You got to know what company it is, where they represent, what they do, do your research. And if you don't know, find someone who, like you said, find out who paid and who didn't pay. You
Right,
know,
right.
and I'm not picking on any companies. I'm just saying it's incumbent on you to do a little more research.
Yes, yes. So I think what would also be helpful is if we kind of tell our listeners the pillars in terms of financial planning. So in terms of having a savings, having life insurance, having college funding, because what you mentioned kind of resonated with me, because for our daughter's college
Mm-hmm.
savings plan, we're actually not using a 529 plan because of all the limitations. We're actually using life insurance. And that might sound very morbid to people. It actually took us about 5 years to be convinced that that is the route we should go. But you are correct that life insurance is so much more complex right now, and it covers so much more than we thought it did, that at this point where we have a policy that will cover our daughter's college funding.
Doc, you know what? I don't know. I want to laugh, jump, scream, ball, shout, because you're coming up right up my alley. I worked with 529 college savings plans. I worked for You Promise Investments that managed the Massachusetts plan, the Nevada plan, the New York plan, Arkansas plan, a whole bunch of plans. What a lot of people don't understand about 529 college savings plans is actually a security. It fluctuates, it goes up and down. You may lose value, you may not. They have certain plans that are prepaid. For example, you know, in certain states, you can only go to a university in that state. And then there's
Yes.
plans where you can go anywhere in the country. What people don't also realize is that 529 plans are for post-secondary education. Now, what if you get a kid that decide that they don't want to go to college? Now,
Yeah,
I'm not
well,
saying
yeah.
kids shouldn't go. College is not for everyone. I mean, I have my youngest child is 20, you know, and he quit. He say college is not for him. You know, I'm trying to recruit him to come and do this, what I do. But the funny thing is this, though. Think about this. Why would you want to be limited, put a wrong thing in a square peg?
Mm-hmm.
With life insurance, you can overfund it and access it. As a matter of fact, I created a plan for a friend of mine who's a clinician, based Dominican, out of Louisiana. And we showed her how they can overfund an IUL, an Index Universal Plan.
Mm-hmm.
And when the child has different milestones, 18 for college, 22 graduate from college, 30 probably getting married, the windfall of money they can have, and you can still, people don't know this. If you have debt and you can pay it off, you're not in debt. So in other words, what I mean by that, if your kid is not too smart and they didn't get academic scholarships, you can still take loans, and then you have the funds in your life insurance to pay it off because you don't owe it. It's kind of like your mortgage, it's like being in debt. So what I keep telling people is that there are creative ways to fund education via life insurance. And that's where the comprehensive plan is non-traditional. And I'll tell you what, the government will never tell you that, because 529 college savings plans are securities. If you don't use it for that, it's taxable, it becomes income to you. Banks will not tell you that because they want to give you loans. What I'm saying to you is, Doc, you guys have done that, and I'm so proud of you. And we are teaching these concepts to individuals to fund college using life insurance. You can use life insurance as a bank. And one of the most important things about this is this: tax-free.
Yeah. But I have to be honest with you, it took us 5 years to come to the decision because, again, we had the stigma of life insurance. Oh, you want us to put life insurance on our daughter who's only 5? I mean, that just sounds so morbid. So I think a lot of it is education, a lot of it is doing the research, a lot of it is connecting with someone like you who's an expert in the field. So again, thank you so much for sharing all this information with us. Now tell us a little bit more about the webinars and what you do on Tuesday evening.
Okay, every Tuesday at 7 p.m., I have a show on Facebook Live called Tuesdays Returns. And if someone's not my Facebook friend, they can send me a request. I try to, vet people out because a lot of time I get scammers from Africa and different places. But if I see, you have a bunch of different friends and you have, a front picture, a back picture, I mean, I will accept you and I might say something to you. Or I'll give you my number. If you know United States of America, you can call my office. My office number is area code 434-535-6099. Or you can email me. My last name is Bardouille. B as in boy, A-R, D as in dog, O-U-I-L-L-E, financialservices@gmail.com. And you can send me. I'll tell you this, Doc. There's a doctor who saw me. I was invited to a show similar to yours out of Pennsylvania back in May and June. Dr. Defoe, he's from Boston, but his dad's originally from Dominica, invited me to be on a show on family and finances. 2 weekends ago, I was in Savannah, Georgia with my wife on a business trip. She came along with me, and I was delivering some stuff for some clients that I did something for in Florida. We met in Georgia. And I get an email from a doctor that says to me, a medical doctor, "Oh, I saw you on a program, and I want to learn about non-traditional concepts." I said, I'm at an appointment in Georgia. I'll call you back. I hit her back up. We scheduled a Zoom appointment, and then we scheduled a second appointment, and we're going to do some comprehensive planning. She had a 529 college savings plan. She had a HSA. She had a 403B, all those different things, but all those things are tax deferred. So we're going to show her how to save on taxes, how to contribute. She has a 5-year-old and an 8-year-old. By the time they're ready for college, they're going to have so much funds that they can go to any school that they want. She doesn't have to worry about it. And she's a high income earner, making a certain amount over 200 grand. But the point I'm trying to make, it doesn't matter if you're making 200 grand or if you're making 25 grand. You can still put something in place. But Tuesdays with Terrence, I go over the same concepts over you, Doc. You are a testimony, and I'm going to use your name one of these days on my show because it took you 5 years to realize.
It did.
And you got a PhD. So what if you got Joe Schmo or Karen Schmo, and they're like, man, this guy is full of it. Think about it. So I keep preaching the same thing over and over and over and over. And sooner or later, we have a theory we use in our business. Some will, some may, next. But I think sometimes education is key. And let me, Doc, you may not notice. Too many people are too embarrassed that they didn't plan. And some of them are too proud to ask for help, especially guys. Women, on the other hand, I think a lot of them are wiser than men. I always say that I'm not embellishing you. I'm just saying it. I say it on my show all the time because they're willing. A woman will tell you she don't know what she knows, but a guy will try to figure it out. It's like driving. He's lost. He won't ask for directions or help. But now you got GPSs, but he'll drive around forever. A woman will ask somebody because that's how we are. Men are different. Why do you say men from Mars, women from Venus, whatever? The point is simply this. My show just educates people. It doesn't cost you anything. And this is what I say. I'm going to pick on someone from Dominica, no big deal. People watch Colin XP musical therapy for hours on Sunday. What is that doing for you? You can play her music, buy her CDs and support her that way. You will watch it for 4 hours, but you won't watch a financial show for an hour. And you can even go back and watch my show at another time. That's going to empower you and help you. And XP and her husband, Cornell, they're doing an awesome job, and I'm proud of them, of the Dominican heritage. But what I'm saying to you, you can dance when you're doing your laundry and your different things, but you'll spend hours on that, but you won't spend time watching a financial show. My point is simply this, folks. Educate yourself. Learn the concepts, and you know what? Take a leap of faith. And the thing about it's a contract. You're not in it for life. Everything I tell you is in the contract. If it's not there, you can refund it. But the important thing is that you have to start somewhere. So Tuesdays with Terrence is where it is, Facebook Live, 7 p.m. every Tuesday.
Excellent, excellent. And I think what is also helpful is to have a resource such as you, because there's so much information out there that it can seem certainly overwhelming to many of us who are in all earnestly trying to figure out financial planning. But having a resource where you can pick up the phone and call someone, or go on Facebook and connect with someone is truly helpful. So again, thank you for being that resource for us. And we are certainly looking forward to continuing this relationship and have you back on, because there's so many areas of this topic that we need to explore, such as when you talk about what is tax deferred. Many people may not even know what this is, and a lot of the other non-traditional concepts that you will help us with. So extending the invitation, will you come back and educate us some more?
Hey, Doc, it's like you're giving, like, I don't know, candy to a baby. Of course, I love educating people, and not just people, but people also look like me. And I want to make this sure. I have clients who are all different colors, okay? But that's not my point. I'm saying there's a stigma that we have. Sometimes we don't support our own, and we don't. Let me tell you something. I can do everything that Fidelity does for you. As a matter of fact, Fidelity doesn't even want you. Let me tell you why. 40,000 or 100,000 or 200,000 to Fidelity, or $1 million to Fidelity is chicken feed. They want the institutional investors, the municipalities, the states, the governments, the schools, districts, because that's millions of multi-millions of dollars. So you're doing. I have a client I saw yesterday, and I'll make this very clear. This client in 2000, this has been my client about 2007. Awesome guy. I love this guy. I consider him my A client. I helped him with something that had nothing to do with what I do. All right. And he was so impressed, he wanted me to do something for him. I'm going to create, an annuity for him. But the important thing is this: years ago in 2009, he didn't tell me that, and he was my client. He cashed out a profit sharing 403B plan that he had, and he paid $23,000 in taxes. And I said to him, it was tax deferred. What that means was you went into a contract with the government. And this is what it is, Doc. Check this out. If I say to you, I'm going to go into business with you, I got a proposal for you. You put up all the money. You put up all the overhead. You fund it. You do every work, all the work. And in 30 years, I'm going to tell you how much you owe me as your business partner. Would you go into business with me?
No.
But that's what we all doing with 403Bs, 457s, 401Ks, and TSPs if you're a government employee. The important thing is this, folks. Tax deferred is okay, but tax-free is king. And the most important thing about it is this guy, you know what? He's living a comfortable retirement, and he's fine. But the average person, people think when they leave a job, I'm going to just take my 401k and pay the taxes. Man, that is foolishness. Don't do that. Because that guy would have told him, put it into something, and every year, if you want to get 10% of it, because what emergency costs more than $5,000 to $10,000? What emergency? Even though I have health insurance, that's different. But I'm talking about in your home. You should have a home insurance, but your water heater might go, and then they might cover that too. But if your roof is gone or something, insurance covers that. So the important thing is simply this: I'd be happy to come back. I want to educate people, especially people like us who have these stigmas and they're scared to ask questions. And I also there's some people. I had a colleague of mine on my show last Tuesday, Barbara Bolkavich, and I told some of my women friends, if you feel more comfortable talking to a woman, I can work that out for you. Well, I have many colleagues who are women. I had a client one time who was uncomfortable with me coming to their home as a man. I said, okay, I have an idea. I brought my colleague with them. I introduced them and I left. We still did the business. The point is important is you have to find creative ways to help individuals. And I'm willing to come. And it doesn't cost you anything. This is free, and I enjoy doing those kind of things. I will go on any show, anywhere, to educate people so that they can better themselves. And some of my friends even go to their own advisors with the information I give them. And it doesn't bother me. I would like them to come to me, but it's their prerogative. Sooner or later, they'll come.
Certainly. So again, untapped potential listeners and viewers of the video, let me introduce you officially to our financial advisor, Mr. H. Terrence Badoui. If you're from Dominica, it's Badwill,
That's
but,
right. That's
but
right.
it's Badoui in the US. And he will be a regular on this program as he educates us on everything relating to finance, financial planning, life insurance. And of course, if you missed the beginning of the program, please be sure to go back to the beginning to listen to how he is going to help us with even making some extra money. I mean, who among us doesn't need extra money at this point in time? So
I
please
do.
feel free to go back to the beginning and listen to his ideas on earning some extra money. So as we get ready to wrap up, Terrence, can you give us again your contact information and how we might reach you?
All right. You can reach me multiple ways. I'm on Instagram at Badoui Financial Services 64, at Badoui Financial Service 64. That's my Instagram. Facebook, it's Havis, Havis, Bardoui, Bardouille. For you Dominicans, it's Havis Badwill. If you guys remember the old Serenade group, Eric Badwill, that's my first cousin, my uncle's son. That's how you do it. You could, if you're in America and you want to contact me, my office number is area code 434-535-6099. I'll say it a little slower. Area code 434-535-6099. I'm licensed in 16 states, and I can get licensed in any state. If people need my help, I'm willing to do that for them. And also, my email address is just my last name, Bardoui, or Badwill, BARDOUILLE, financial services at gmail.com. Again, I'm H. Terrence Bardoui with Bardoui Financial Services in partnership with American Classic Agency. Dr. Simone, was my pleasure. I'm looking forward to be a regular. And I'll tell Dr. Dale, I watched the program with Dr. Dale yesterday. It was awesome. I loved it.
Thank you.
You
Thank
guys did a
you.
great job. And
Thank
I
you.
love to see the empowerment of, I'm pro Dominica. And I think I tell people Dominica is the conduit to greatness, but then I augmented that by saying La Pointe, Point Michel is the conduit to excellence. And some people, my Dominican friends got mad. So now I say Dominica is the conduit to excellence. So we have a
Well,
lot of talented professionals, medical doctors, we have financial people, real estate, people in all sorts of fields, contractors, I think we can use their services. And don't be, there was something that someone showed me, and I think I saved it. I may have saved it, and I hope I have it here, Doc, and I just want to share it with you. If I don't, we'll get it next time. And I think the person said something like, it was the rapper, Future. All right, he said, treat your friends' businesses the same way y'all treat these high-end companies. So, yeah, you buying Gucci and Fendi and all, nothing is wrong with that. You can afford it. But you know what? You don't call me your friend and then you don't want my advice. And stop going for financial advice at your chicken place or your hairdresser. Go to your hairdresser for your hair. Don't go to your mechanic as your cardiologist. And just like you, if I had a question about educational things, Doc, I'd come to you. You have financial questions, come to me or some of my colleagues. I'm more than happy to help you.
Yes, certainly. So we're all about building community with this
Exactly.
program. So again, thank you for being on Untapped Potential today, and we're looking forward to continuing our relationship together.
All right, Doc.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thanks.